Fashion. Let's go to fashion.
I'm sure you have things.
I have a lot of things. Lockheed's Pringles boxer briefs, which I didn't notice them till I went on Shop Your TV to look something else up, and a picture of them pops up, and I was like, this isn't this episode. So I went back. It's in one of the first scenes when we see once again Saxon's butt, and Lockie is looking at it kind of oddly, and he gets up and goes into the bathroom, and he is wearing these Pringles boxer briefs, sour cream and onion. And
I was not looking at his
I'm sure you weren't. And I really didn't see it because the way they cut him, I really didn't see it.
Oh yeah, I don't think you see it that much.
You don't.
You see plenty of Saxon.
You do.
I've seen all of that man I need to. For roughly forever.
Yeah. So these are on Amazon, and they're by Odd Socks, and they are $22.99. Next thing was Belinda's pajamas. When she first wakes up, it's a robe, it's a kimono. Well, I'm calling it a kimono, but I think
he comes to pick her up because he's going to show her around the place.
Well, it was before that. It was right when she woke up. The alarm goes off. She's like, "Where am I?"
Right.
They're by Johnny Was, and it's the Alder kimono and then the Alder pant. But they, of course, are out of stock. The kimono originally was $350 down to $175, and the Alder pant was $270 and went to $135. But I Google lensed it and found similar, especially the pants by Belle Kazan. Yeah, I went to a rabbit hole with the Google lens. Oh my gosh, I'm like, ah! But I didn't see that same pattern or colors. The colors were beautiful. They were like a darker turquoise and red. I really liked that.
Can I give you an interesting insider movie making thing about costumes?
Yes.
So I was just on a movie late last year, and I actually interviewed the costume designer for it.
Awesome.
And so when you're doing contemporary costumes, like not period costumes, you don't make everything. You just buy stuff. And what they do is they just buy like a massive amount of clothes that they think might work, and they try them on the actors, and they put it in front of the director, and the director says yes or no. And then there are entire racks of clothing that just go back to the stores.
Wow.
They just like, it's like if you were shopping for something and you didn't know what you wanted, so you bought 5 outfits.
Right.
Except, you're doing that for every person on the movie.
Yeah.
For like every character.
Yeah.
We like this trench coat and this suit, but we don't like these shoes. And, like it's a massive, there was an entire room filled with just racks of clothes and stuff that was getting shipped out of there.
Wow.
Like, oh, that's all going,
wow.
Back kind of thing. And some poor costume PA has to coordinate all that stuff to go back to, whatever stores they're going for. But I just thought it was interesting that when you see stuff like this, first of all, what the budget must be for costumes, which has got to be out of this world. And this is part of the reason why movies cost so much, because look at how many people are in this show, and those are just principals. Yeah. That's not, because they're dressing every extra as well. So they're dressing, everybody in that frame is getting dressed by costumiers and costume design, and they're going through a whole, every day they're going into, they go into makeup, and then they go into costumes, and then finally when they come out, they work. But there's a whole, it's almost like an assembly line that everybody goes through. You get in, it's call time, you have your donut and your coffee or whatever, and then you're in the makeup chair, and then next thing you know, you're getting sent to wardrobe outfits you. Then you go to set, and sometimes the director wants to change, so you have to go back to wardrobe and get changed again.
I can imagine.
And it's everything about making a movie is a huge pain in the ass. It's very, very tedious in that way.
And thought behind every detail, right?
And then when you see this stuff, it's just like, oh my God, how much. First of all, how do they find this location?
Right.
Looks like it's in the middle of it. Anyway, I'm sorry, you were talking
That's okay.
about those.
No, that's interesting. And also, when I watched the first season of the White Lotus, actually, it was one of the shows that inspired me to do a podcast about HBO shows, because I was so intrigued by it, and I would look at the clothes and notice, like, the newlywed couple, sometimes their clothes matched the color of the wallpaper in the room, and I'm like, this is done on purpose. Or sometimes too, I had heard this a long time ago, that some shows, I don't know about movies, where they will dress people in similar colors that they want you to want them to be together, that type of thing. So I find it so interesting, the clothing, because I know
There,
there's so much
there are
behind it.
loads of color theory and things like that, and sometimes it's an actor's particular style. If you have a star that it looks good in a certain
In
thing,
certain, okay.
like in the in the 40s, 50s, in the early day, in the sort of golden age of Hollywood, when they were making a lot of cowboy pictures. If you look at Jimmy Stewart, or if you look at some of these old Gary Cooper, somebody like that, they're wearing the same hat in every Western
Because it looked the
because
best on them.
it's really hard to get a cowboy hat that looks good on you. So they would like, nope, I'm wearing this one, and and they would take it from movie to movie, and they always wore the same cowboy hat because it's really hard
Wow.
to find a good cowboy hat.
Wow. They save money.
Yeah, and sometimes you have deals with designers too, like
Oh, yeah.
sometimes it'll be a particular, John Ford or Armani is doing the men, and then somebody else is doing the women. Oddly enough, whenever you see I've seen quite a few films where the priest, if there's a priest in the film,
Yeah.
is wearing the black priest thing with the Armani. They're
Wow.
they're all wearing like
That's
high styling,
that's hysterical.
like so not, vow of poverty.
Right.
He's wearing an $800 suit with a
Why?
turnaround collar because it looks good.
Because it looks good.
Because it looks great on camera. That's what the
That's all
costume
it's about.
designer will
Yeah.
say.
All right. The next thing I loved was Kate's striped silver and black caftan. It was dinner time, and this is insane. So it's $1,500. Okay.
That's another thing with the show. I mean, everything is going to be, with probably the exception of like the uniforms of the people who work there and the security and things like that. Everything's going to be super expensive because all of these people are fancy.
Right.
All of these people, are
They would be wearing them.
right.
Wearing these things.
And they don't care about how much they spend on, on clothes,
Yeah.
and they'll just buy whatever. In fact, we got a great shopping scene too, with the two
Oh,
women.
yeah.
We'll talk about that.
Okay.
But
Yeah, I have to find. I can't believe I don't have the brand here, but it is. I was like, what is this made of? It's. Do you say jacquard? Do you know how to say that one? Jacquard, Jac.
no idea.
Okay, it's jacquard. It's made in Italy. It's 80% silk and 20% polyester. I don't know. I was like, what? That one did shock me. I mean, I know, but $1,500. I mean, anyway. Maybe if I had that money, I guess I would.
Yeah, I mean, it's all relative. What their percentage of what they're buying for their personal wardrobe is like probably what you'd buy, but they have a different bank account. So, like,
Yes. And that one I didn't Google Lens. I was going to try to Google Lens to find something similar, but then I didn't get a chance to. I also loved Jacqueline's, this was all at the dinner, Jacqueline's sequin. I didn't realize it was Valentino till I searched it up. And then actually, when I watched it the second time, Valentino mini dress. It actually says Valentino on it in rainbow colors. It was unavailable, could not find it at all. I mean, Valentino, you can just imagine how much that is. I did find a similar that I would say was the most similar when I was searching. It didn't have any writing on it. It was basically a sequined wrap dress. It was $50. So, I think that's it for the fashion for this one.
that's
I had a lot more on the other one.
there's a lot. One thing is interesting too is like it's all summer beach and that type of thing.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to remember the character names. I tend to remember actor names better than
Right.
character names, but everybody seems to be fit very well in terms of everything seems to fit the characters very well. Mm-hmm. And it's giving you sort of hints about the characters because you don't know them that well yet.
Right.
So I'm interested to see. Also, are people going to fall apart eventually? Because everybody looks sort of very pressed and
Yes.
pristine
Yeah.
right now. But
Right.
are they going to look like a crumpled up ball of panic by the
Yeah.
time, the incident goes down?
Yeah. Well, we saw Carrie Coon unravel, or her character, Lori, unravel a little bit. And then she buttoned it up. Yep, real fast.
This is the BTRP Media Network.